Hello and welcome to the lecture on error control operators. So let's quickly look at what we're going to learn in this section. So error control operators are used to suppress the error. So whenever there is an error, right, we will raise an error, right? The operator that we use called as error control operator are used to suppress the error. Okay, so remember that it is not to raise an error, but it's basically to suppress it. So we'll try to raise an error manually and then we'll try to suppress it. Okay, so let's look into that. So I'm creating that file. So how to raise an error? You can always raise error by dividing by 0, and this line is an error and will not proceed further. Okay, so let's look into this. If I say echo hello, so that's basically an error here, and you want to control this error. It means you don't want to show this error to the user, right? But you want to skip this error. For that you have something called as error control operators. So if you want to skip this error and you don't want to raise an exception and show it to the user on the web page, you just want to control. Maybe you're not sure whether it will raise an exception or not, but if it raises an exception, you want to skip this error. You don't want to show this on the web page. So for this we will use something called as error control operator, which is denoted by @ symbol. So if you put the @ symbol and you print it, it's basically skipping that error. And if you remove that error control operator, it's basically show you that error. Okay, very handy and very useful when you want to suppress the error on the web page and you want to know whether an error has been raised, right? What you can do is you can check whether an error has been raised previously or not using something called as PHP error message. Okay, let's execute this. Then you can see the division by 0 error has been raised. So if you suppress it and you execute, you know there is an error has been raised, and this variable will actually holds an error if somewhere in the operations the error has been raised and you have suppressed it. By checking at this variable, you know any errors has been raised previously or not. Okay, so what I've done, I've printed this before and after. So let's call it before. So what I've done, I've called it before and after this variable, right? To see whether before, whether does it have any value, and after does it have any value. Okay, before have nothing, after it has division by 0. So even you suppress something, you want to know whether error has been raised, this variable can actually help you do that. Okay, so remember the error control operator, which is denoted by @ symbol, which is used to control the errors to be displayed on the web page. Okay, so that's all on this lecture on error control operators, and I'll see you in the next one.